Good day and welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Reviews. Today, we get to talk about my second quarter, halfway through the year book haul video. I've got some books to share with you. The books that I've gotten over the last 3 months. So we'll be going through my science fiction, nonfiction, fiction, and fantasy add-ons to my collection. So if you want to see what I've hauled in the last couple of months, stay tuned because that is coming right up on Drew's Book Reviews. Alright, so let's get into the second quarter book haul. So second quarter, halfway through the year of 2021. Here's going to be some great books that I have picked up over the last 3 months or so. Of course, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you can see when I upload videos. I upload on Tuesdays and Fridays, and occasionally on other days throughout the week as well. You can also join me down on the Discord and Patreon as well. That will be linked below. So let's talk about book hauls. Some of these books I'm probably not going to get to till next year at the earliest, but that's okay because I've always got to add more and more to my collection, add more to the TBR pile as always. And yeah, let's get into this. So we're going to divide this up into 4 basic different categories. We got my fiction, my nonfiction, my science fiction, and my fantasy is what we're going to be taking a look at here. So to start off, we're going to start off with the science fiction book haul. So this is the smallest amount as far as category goes, as far as books that I've gotten over the last 3 months. But yeah, let's check that out, science fiction. For the science fiction book haul, I picked up The Minority Report and Other Classic Stories by Philip K. Dick. So I only recently started reading Philip K. Dick, and Minority Report, I think everyone knows of the movie that exists based on this story. I don't know, I don't recall liking the movie, to be honest, but it's been such a long time since I've seen it. I love the concept of the Minority Report anyway, so this is the Minority Report and Other Stories. So a couple of stories in here, which is really awesome. I look forward to getting to that. So Philip K. Dick, The Minority Report and Other Stories. Philip K. Dick has some pretty awesome stuff going on. Minority Report, the idea of pre-crime or thought crime is just kind of a crazy, creepy concept if you ask me, but hey, certainly makes for some good storytelling, and Philip K. Dick is famous for that kind of creepy futuristic vibe to his stories for sure. So there you have it. And the second science fiction book that I picked up this past quarter is Tiamat's Wrath, The Expanse, book 8, pardon me. I'm not sure if book 9's out yet. I'm pretty sure book 9 isn't out yet, but there's supposed to be a book 9. But anyway, this is book 8 of the Expanse series, a series I am absolutely super enjoying. Trying to get to, one Expanse book per month on average. Mostly on average, sometimes I'll skip a month. But anyway, The Expanse by James S.A. Corey, Tiamat's Wrath. So this is the 8th book in this series. And so far, I am absolutely loving the Expanse series. Great TV show, great set of books. Just awesome all around. And definitely, I am looking forward to getting to this. This one probably won't be till next year on my reading schedule, if I'm not mistaken, based on what I got scheduled of the year. But yeah, if you haven't read The Expanse, you've got to check it out. It is just an awesome series. I am loving every single book I've come across in The Expanse so far. So those are the 2 science fiction books that I've picked up over this past quarter. And so up next, we're going to talk a little bit about the nonfiction books that I've picked up. So for nonfiction, I picked up a book called Kindred, Neanderthal Life, Love, Death, and Art. This is a subject that I am absolutely interested in, for sure. Not so much, the love, death, and art, so much aspect of the Neanderthals, but the idea of this prehistoric world where there's multiple different Homo species, different human species, spread throughout the world and planet in our evolutionary history. The Neanderthal probably being the most famous of all the now extinct human species ever to live on Earth. So I thought when I saw this that this would be a very interesting read to get more insight into the Neanderthal, how they lived, and how these ancient cousins of ours lived their life. And that'll be a very interesting read to check out because evolutionary history is something that definitely interests me. And I'm looking forward to reading all about our cousins, the Neanderthals. Next book that I picked up was Steven Pinker's Enlightenment Now, The Case for Reason, Science, Humanism, and Progress. So I've heard a lot of good things about Steven Pinker and Enlightenment Now book, and it's, you know, the case for reason, science, and humanism. I'm all for reason, I'm all for science, and it's definitely something that interests me. The title of the book certainly stood out to me as far as a topic that I'm interested in. So it'll be interesting to see what Steven Pinker has to say about that. I've heard a lot of great things about Enlightenment Now and his argument for, well, reason, science, and humanism. So yeah, we'll check that out. We'll see where that goes and how I enjoy that one. Again, I probably won't get to this one till next year, as I am trying to get to one nonfiction read per month for this year at least. And right now, I'm pretty sure my nonfiction to be read pile takes me into 2022. So I'll probably get to that next year. But still, definitely going to be an interesting read for sure. For my last nonfiction book, Gory Details, Adventures from the Dark Side of Science. So this isn't going to be fun to read. It's kind of all about the science of crime and how it's all put together, and you know, the gory details, the most disturbing aspects of the most disturbing crimes that we have. What's the science behind that, and how is the science used to help solve these gory details of the crimes that happen? So this will be a fun read. I have no doubt about that. I mean, just the title of the book alone, Gory Details, Adventures from the Dark Side of Science. Who doesn't love the dark side? I mean, come on. We all love a good dark side of anything in a story, right? So why not look at the real world dark side of things and how that really works in the real world? So Gory Details, I saw this in the bookshelf at the bookstore and I thought, wow, that looks like a really interesting book. That ought to be fun to read. So of course, I went and I picked that up right away because, like I said, who doesn't like the dark side of anything, right? So there you go. Those are my non-fiction books that I will be picking up, or that I have picked up for my future, now on my to be read pile and future reads coming up. So next we're going to move on to the fiction books that I've picked up over the last quarter. Generally don't read a lot of fiction. Generally I'm reading science fiction and fantasy, but occasionally I will sprinkle a fiction book in there. There was a TV show based off of a book that I'd watched that I did enjoy. That was called The Alienist. So when I found this book at a cheap book sale, The Alienist, I thought, hey, why not pick it up and check it out? Because I enjoyed the show, I'm sure I'll enjoy the book as well. And alongside that came the sequel to that, The Angel of Darkness. So I found both these books at one of those cheap dollar store sales that were just kind of sitting there as a used book for sale. And I thought, why not? It was cheap, it was like 50 cents. Why the heck not, right? So I picked up The Alienist and The Angel of Darkness by Caleb Carr. So these two go together essentially. And yeah, I mean, hopefully I enjoy the book. I did like the show, so hopefully I enjoy the book as well. Because I like the concept behind The Alienist, kind of what they used to call psychology, I guess, is where when you have this mental disorder, they kind of viewed it as alien or something that's not actually you and it's kind of possessing you. It's because it's a weird idea, really. So yeah, I mean, the Alienist was basically the psychologist of their day. So we'll see how that goes. So the next book that I picked up was a Knights Templar mystery, The Chapel of Bones, Michael Jex. I have not read anything by any Knights Templar mysteries. This is actually the second one I have on my shelf. I don't know why I keep grabbing this. I have no idea if I'm going to like it. Generally, I'm not a historical fiction reader. But, hey, you never know. The Knights Templar, that piqued my interest at the very least. So why the heck not? Hopefully it's good. Luckily, I only paid 50 cents for this book. So if I didn't like it, it's not like I spent a whole lot of money on a book that I didn't end up liking, right? So that's good. And the one I found at a local sharing library, which is pretty cool. I mean, we've got these little sharing libraries around town where you take a book, leave a book kind of thing. The Book of Negroes. I'd heard about this, and I'm hoping to put this read in Black History Month next year. I thought it would be a good fit for Black History Month 2022, which I believe is in February, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. I'll figure it out later. But yeah, The Book of Negroes. So this is should be an interesting book, and I'm looking forward to reading this, getting perspective from this particular viewpoint and the history of slavery in a fictional setting. Definitely something I think would be for an interesting read, and I'm looking forward to reading that. It's definitely had its praise. It's heralded as a great book. I'd heard so many things about the Book of Negroes and how awesome this book is and how great the story is. So I look forward to seeing how that goes, and we'll see where it goes from there and whether or not I enjoy it. Again, another historical fiction, not a genre I typically find myself reading in, but good stories can be found in all genres across the board. So we'll see if I like this one. You never know, right? So those are my fiction pickups for this quarter's book haul. And finally, we are now going to move on to the largest category where I've picked up the most books, and that of course is the fantasy category for my book haul. Okay, so for fantasy, we're going to start off with the Farseer trilogy. Now, BookTube has not been quiet about this. They've been going on and on about Robin Hobb and the Farseer trilogy, so I finally gave in and I decided to buy these books. Probably won't get to them till next year because, like I said, I got a big TBR, but definitely I will get to them. So Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, the first book in the Farseer trilogy, and then of course we got Royal Assassin coming up after that one, and Assassin's Quest for the third book in the Farseer trilogy. Now, I didn't stop there because, quite frankly, like I said, BookTube will not be quiet about Robin Hobb. So I picked up a few other ones, the Live Ship Traders trilogy as well. So with that, we've got the Ship of Magic, Live Ship Traders Book 1, and then we've also got, of course, Mad Ship as well, Live Ship Traders Book 2, and Live Ship Traders Book 3, Ship of Destiny. I've been hearing nothing but praise over and over and over again about Robin Hobb and the Farseer and Live Ship Traders trilogies. Nothing but non-stop praise for these books. Everybody just seems to absolutely love them, and it's coming recommended from virtually every BookTube channel that I follow. So if it's that highly recommended, it's gotta be good. And so I figured I better pick them up, I better check them out, I better get them and add them to my to-be-read pile, because BookTube has just been amazing at recommending books to me that I never even knew existed. Actually, I hadn't even heard much about Robin Hobb. Maybe I'd heard the name at some point, but I haven't heard about the books until BookTube started talking about them nonstop. All right, so next up, we got Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter. This is the second book in his series that I am really looking forward to reading. It's had some mixed reviews for the first book, Rage of Dragons, but overall they've been generally positive. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting to Fires of Vengeance. But first I have to read Rage of Dragons. I haven't actually read Rage of Dragons yet, but I will. I absolutely will, and you can bet this will be right after I read Rage of Dragons, right on to the Fires of Vengeance. So that is there. Another author I've heard about from BookTube without actually reading yet, but recommended by BookTube. So that is just awesome. Keep the recommendations up. I'm absolutely loving it. Next one I picked up was called The Dark One, Brandon Sanderson's The Dark One. I don't usually read graphic novels, but hey, you know what? If Brandon Sanderson's name's on it, you bet I'm going to pick it up. So Brandon Sanderson's The Dark One would be one of the ones I picked up on this book haul. I did put this as fantasy. I'm pretty sure it would be classified as fantasy. So it'll be interesting to read because, like I said, I don't normally read graphic novels. I do have the White Sands as graphic novels as well, but I haven't got to those yet. And it'll be interesting when I get to The Dark One by Brandon Sanderson. Looking forward to that. And of course, anything with Sanderson is going to be good because I absolutely love Sanderson, and he is by far easily going to be a must-buy for me. Absolutely, without fail, each and every time. Next up on my book haul is yet another author that BookTube has been going nuts about, that I've heard so much about, and I just had to go and buy everything this guy's written before I even read a single one of his books. Because again, it has become so highly recommended on BookTube. And that is Malice. So this is The Faith and the Fallen. So of course we got book 1, Malice by John Gwynne, which was followed up by Valor, book 2 of Faith, the Faithful and the Fallen. And of course, followed up by that again, Ruin, book 3 of the Faithful and the Fallen series, which was followed up by Wrath, book 4 of the Faithful and the Fallen series. So as I mentioned, of course, hearing so much good about John Gwynne and his books, I had to buy everything that he's written so far, because people just won't stop talking about John Gwynne. So of course I had to follow up that purchase with a Blood and Bone series with book 1, A Time of Dread. As I understand, the world that these books are set in is called the Banished Lands. So 2 series set in the Banished Lands, with the second one in of Blood and Bone being A Time of Blood. I mean, come on, I just love that title, A Time of Blood. That just sounds awesome. Just awesome. Who doesn't love A Time of Blood, right? And then of course, A Time of Courage, book 3 of Blood and Bone series. So got both of those series by John Gwynne, and of course that is followed up by his new series, The Bloodswarm, book 1, Shadow of the Gods. Everybody I've talked about loves this cover. Or everybody's talked about seems to love this cover. And I have to say, I mean, look, I don't blame them. I mean, come on, who doesn't love a cover with a nasty big dragon on the front? That just looks cool. Who wouldn't love that, right? So Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. So there you go. I picked up all of John Gwynne's books because I've been hearing so many good things about John Gwynne and his writing and his books, and it's just overall has been awesome to hear the recommendations coming through. And when I hear so many booktubers talking about a book or a book series or an author, and they're all praising this author, definitely I think to myself, you know what, I gotta check that out, I gotta buy that. As Epic Tales would say, wrecking my TBR. But hey, no worries. You know, that's part of what's great about this community is you hear so much about books and authors that you wouldn't have otherwise known about, and I love that about it. So just a couple more left. The next one up was that I picked up was Peace Talks by Jim Butcher. So this is part of the Dresden Files, which is a series I'm absolutely loving. I love Harry Dresden. This series is amazing. His character is amazing. I love everything about it. I do have Battleground on pre-order, which I expect I'll be getting later this year, because right now I have them all in these paperback, mass market paperback editions, so I didn't want to get some of them in hardcover and some in paperback. I like them to all match. Call me crazy, but my book sets have to match. It drives me crazy when they don't. So Peace Talks by Jim Butcher from the Dresden Files. I really look forward to getting to this one, and of course Battleground, which will be coming later this year. I've got the mass market paperback pre-ordered for that. And then finally, the last book that I picked up in this quarter's book haul is The Last Hero by Terry Pratchett. This is interesting. I didn't realize it at the time that I ordered, but it's actually the illustrated edition of The Last Hero. I didn't even realize that this was an illustrated edition when I ordered it. But I mean, there you go, The Last Hero, a Discworld novel, illustrated edition by Terry Pratchett. I'm sure it'll be funny, hilarious, as always, because that's just what Terry Pratchett is. He's a funny, hilarious guy. And his books are awesome. His Discworld is awesome. And I'm going through one Discworld book per month is kind of my plan until I've read all the Discworld. And you know, I don't know if I'm going to do a dedicated review on each and every Discworld book, but I definitely will have some dedicated reviews on some Discworld books at the very least. So there you have it. There is my Q2 book haul and all the books that I picked up over this last quarter of the year. And you know, definitely looking forward to getting to all of them. And I'm looking forward to my Q3 book haul when that time comes around, sharing you what I'm going to buy over the next few months. I don't even know what I'm going to buy over the next couple of months, but I'm looking forward to sharing my Q3 book haul when that's time. So if you want to see that, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. And of course, as always, you could join me over on the Discord where we could have a great chat about these books and everything BookTube related. Down on my Discord, I'll have the link for that below. And of course, as always, you could join me on Patreon as well, where you can have the opportunity to, you know, pick my next read, get early access to my patron book reviews, and of course, other perks such as being entered into draws for book giveaways, things like that. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, keep on reading. Bye.